In a quiet corner of a bustling city, Mira, a reclusive sculptor, lived alone in a small, cluttered studio. The studio was filled with a mix of clay, stone, and half-finished sculptures, each telling a story of its own. Mira found comfort in her art, but her life was far from peaceful. Years ago, a tragic accident took away her loved ones and left her feeling lost and voiceless. The pain of that loss hung over her like a dark cloud, making it hard for her to connect with others. While she shaped her materials into beautiful forms, she struggled to shape her own feelings. Each piece she created was an expression of her grief, yet she kept herself isolated from the world outside. The vibrant city around her seemed to pulse with life, but she remained an invisible spectator, afraid to step into the light. One evening, as the sun dipped below the horizon, Mira decided to take a rare stroll to clear her mind. She wandered through winding streets until she found herself in a dark alley, where sounds of excitement drew her attention. There, a crowd had gathered around a street fighter named Daniel. He was known for his fierce skills and tough demeanor, and people cheered as he showcased his strength. Yet, as Mira watched from the shadows, she noticed more than just his physical prowess. In his eyes, there was a flicker of pain and a struggle that mirrored her own. She felt a strange connection to him, as if they were both fighting battles hidden from the world. Intrigued by the energy of the alley and the fire in Daniel's movements, Mira couldn't help but come back, sketchbook in hand, captivated by this complex man. Over the following weeks, Mira continued to visit the alley, drawn not only by Daniel's fighting but also by his spirit. Each time, she brought her sketchbook and spent hours capturing his fierce expressions and powerful stances. As she sketched, she felt her own feelings begin to surface, the passion in his movements inspiring her to channel her emotions into her art. One day, Daniel noticed her quietly observing him, and curiosity got the better of him. He approached her, wiping sweat from his brow and asking why she seemed so fascinated. Mira, initially hesitant, decided to open up. "I see the strength in you," she said, "but I also see your struggle. It inspires me." Daniel frowned, unsure of what to make of her words. He had never thought of himself as inspiring, but her kindness sparked something in him, igniting a friendship that neither of them expected. As their friendship deepened, Mira began to invite Daniel to her studio. Initially, he felt out of place among her intricate sculptures and creative mess. But as time passed, he found himself drawn into her world. She taught him how to mold clay, showing him the joy of creation. Each time he struggled, they would laugh together, and Daniel's laughter echoed in the studio, bringing warmth to Mira's heart. In those moments, she felt lighter, her pain slowly easing as she shared her passion with someone who appreciated it. At the same time, Daniel found solace in this new environment, learning that art could be another way to express himself. Mira's guidance opened a door for him, and with every failed attempt at sculpting, he grew more determined. Their bond strengthened as they discovered the healing power of creativity together. In return for Mira's kindness, Daniel decided to help her break out of her shell. He encouraged her to try new things, including self-defense classes. At first, Mira was hesitant, fearing that she would not be able to keep up. But Daniel's unwavering support gave her the courage to try. Each punch and kick became a release for her pent-up emotions. With every session, she discovered a newfound sense of power that she hadn't felt in years. Meanwhile, Daniel learned to appreciate the patience and focus required in art, and he admired how Mira poured her heart into her work. Together, they pushed each other to confront their fears, sharing their insecurities and celebrating small victories. As they trained and created side by side, they began to realize that their journeys were intertwined, both leading them toward healing. One day, after an intense training session, Daniel looked at Mira and saw the flicker of fear in her eyes. "You've helped me more than you know," he said, his voice steady. "But I can see you're still hiding." Mira felt exposed and vulnerable, her past weighing heavily on her heart. "I don't know if I can ever truly heal," she replied, her voice barely above a whisper. Daniel stepped closer, his gaze unwavering. "You can," he insisted. "You have to face it. Let it out. Don't be afraid to show the world who you are." His words struck a chord deep within her, and she realized that she had been avoiding her pain for too long. With Daniel's encouragement, she decided to confront her fears and express her emotions through her art. This moment marked a turning point in Mira's life, igniting a desire to break free from her past. Fueled by Daniel's belief in her, Mira decided to create a new sculpture that represented her journey of healing. She spent countless hours in her studio, pouring all her emotions into the piece. As she sculpted, she felt a mix of pain and release, shaping her feelings into a tangible form. Each stroke of her hands was a step closer to understanding her grief and accepting her past. This sculpture became her most powerful work yet, embodying both strength and vulnerability. It was as if the act of creation itself was a cathartic release, allowing her to channel her inner turmoil into something beautiful. Finally, after days of hard work, the sculpture stood completed, a testament to her growth and resilience. She felt a surge of pride, realizing that she could transform her pain into art and share her story with the world. When Mira finally unveiled her sculpture, she felt a mix of anxiety and excitement. Daniel stood by her side, beaming with pride as the art community gathered to admire her work. People admired the intricate details and the emotions it conveyed, and with each compliment, Mira felt more confident. This recognition ignited a spark within her, slowly chipping away at the walls she had built around herself. As the crowd applauded, she realized that she was no longer just an observer in her own life. With Daniel's unwavering support, she began to reclaim her voice, sharing her story through her art. It was a liberating experience, and she felt as if the weight of her past was finally lifting. Their friendship had given her the courage to step out of the shadows, embracing her identity as both a sculptor and a survivor. As Daniel prepared for a big street fighting tournament, Mira promised to be there, cheering him on. The night of the tournament was electric with anticipation, and the atmosphere buzzed with excitement. Crowds gathered, their cheers echoing through the venue as fighters showcased their skills. Mira felt a rush of nerves as she watched Daniel enter the ring. He moved with a fierce determination, his body a blend of power and grace. As the fights progressed, she felt every punch and kick in her heart, wishing for his success. When Daniel finally stepped into the spotlight, he fought fiercely, showcasing not just his skills but the lessons he had learned from their friendship. Each movement told a story of struggle and triumph. As the final bell rang, Daniel emerged victorious, and the crowd erupted in applause. Mira's heart swelled with pride, knowing that their journeys had shaped them into the people they had become. After the fight, Daniel searched the crowd for Mira, his heart racing. When their eyes met, he grinned, a wide smile breaking across his face. He had fought not just for victory but for the bond they had created. Mira felt a rush of warmth as she rushed to him, pride and joy flooding her heart. In that moment, she knew that their friendship had transformed them both. They had faced their inner demons together, and through their shared struggles, they had found strength. Their connection had brought healing, opening doors to new possibilities in their lives. They understood that healing was not a destination but a continuous journey filled with challenges and victories. With every step they took together, they embraced their scars, knowing that they had the power to face the world and inspire others in the process.